Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the plot of the first 5 episodes of the sci-fi series Extinction. A man wakes up in the middle of a lake with a red drone hovering over him. In his head flashes memories of his family and a huge spaceship that attacked the Earth. Gathering all his strength, the man swims to shore. The drone overhead calls him Ezra and scans his health status. There are cries for help nearby, and Ezra is the first to pull the dark-skinned man and woman to shore. None of the trio remembers the last event. Fina notices the silhouette of a hulking alien spaceship among the debris on the shore, and Ezra vaguely recalls their invasion. The boys then discover the wreckage of a long-rotten automobile that appears to have stood here for centuries. The men believe there was once a road here. The men recall an alien invasion, all of which died in different years. Moreover, Abram was 67 years old at the time, but now he looks 25. The red drone explains that they all came back to life in the prime of their lives. Since they each died in different years, their memories are different. All three are on Earth, 400 years after an alien invasion completely wiped out the human race. Humanity has been resurrected by a mysterious underwater creature named Blix. Blix decides to resurrect humanity and finds the rest of the information in a settlement populated by other reanimated humans. At the drone's command, the three retrieve Greer from the water and follow him, wondering why he has been reanimated. Eventually they spot a mysterious destructive archway in the distance, and Abram is the first to rush towards it, driving his strong young body into a frenzy. The young man cannot resist the temptation to touch the glowing hieroglyphics. Abram rushes down and declares to everyone that he has seen it all. Suddenly, someone shoots down a red drone and injures Abram with the next blow. The three pretend to try to escape but actually ambush and catch their pursuers. At this point, the captured Jax declares to Trinity that it is not yet resolved, and that the glowing substance around the man's neck is the Leather Rider who has become one with him. From the stranger's words, the team realizes that the man is after the glowing glare. Abram tells them that when he touched the hieroglyphics, he felt the vastness of space. Jax tries to free himself by taunting the man, but Trinity quickly cools his ardor and leaves, despite Jax's cries that he knows Ezra's brother and will show him around. Trinity soon reaches a large cave where Jax finds a tribe with the same glowing parasite around their necks. Ezra's own brother Silas stands out among them. In the cave, the three men wonder how the aliens resurrected themselves and how they were able to access their DNA. By noon, Abram's wounds begin to hurt badly and fester. Then the others figure out how to put Abram in a small underground reservoir and release Greer into it. Just as the men predicted, after a few hours, the stream completely heals Abram's wounds. In the morning, Fina again wonders why the aliens chose to resurrect her out of billions of people. Climbing a hill, Troy finally spots a settlement in the distance, but on the way, he is overtaken by a rider with a glowing spot on his neck. While Abram and Fina seek help from the villagers, Ezra tries to confront the enemy, but is surprised to see his brother among them. At that moment, a yellow drone appears out of the gate, disabling the riders and helping Ezra follow his friends into the settlement. No one is inside, and the drone tells the three to follow him, showing the graves where the locals are buried. The drone then opens a door to a military base where the settlers once lived. At the same time, the racers catch up with the escaped Duncan. They notice that the substance in the fugitive's neck, which they call a companion, has stopped working. Silas promises to fix it. The resurrected learn that the settlers have been killed by a powerful new virus that continues to spread through the region. A yellow drone instructs the humans to release the glare into the water, adding that they will be able to make a vaccine if they bring an ingredient that is only found in a living lake. Fina gets a nosebleed and is forced to stay at the base while the humans move towards the lake. The girl decides to fix the damaged red drone for now. The travelers are lost in speculation as to how they managed to come back to life. From the glare, the men realize that the drone is functioning. However, who is controlling the glare is unclear. Arriving at the lake, they launch the glare to gather the necessary materials. At the base, Ezra's wife Lynn unexpectedly appears in front of Fina, who explains that she worked as a nurse during the invasion and can help. Once on the ground, Ezra admits to his friends that one of the riders is his brother. Ezra recalls being told during the alien invasion that his brother was a worthless, spoiled brat. Now the man apologizes and wants his relationship with his brother to finally get better. A hologram of Lynn reappears at the base and helps Finn fix the red drone. The yellow drone warns the resurrected men that the horseman is approaching. Ezra tells Abram to run and tries to get Cyrus back himself. However, the horsemen surround Ezra and knock him down. When Silas regains consciousness during the night, he forbids the rest of the horsemen from making his brother a horseman like Ani, and tells them privately that he was sure his brother would soon volunteer to join the horsemen. He explains that each rider wears a glowing companion around his neck that teaches him to do the right thing and helps him communicate telepathically with others like him. The companions have made Silas a leader and mentor to others, even though he was a nobody in his past life. Silas then makes an imperceptible, "get out of here" gesture to his brother and goes to bed. Ezra runs off into the woods, where he finds Abram, who declares that he will save his brother at any cost. They return to the lake, where 3 vaccine capsules have already been prepared. The men quickly get the capsules and rush to Fina, whose condition is getting worse. Lynn asks the red drone to replace her with an image of someone important to the girl. A hologram of Duncan appears in her place. Fortunately, the men manage to administer the vaccine in time, and Finn eventually regains consciousness. The next day, Abram discovers a locked room with a glowing obelisk. Meanwhile, in the woods, Silas argues with Duncan about the assignment of a mate. He completely controls his master's thoughts, convincing him that it is tantamount to slavery. At the settlement, Abram manages to decipher the hieroglyphics and informs the others that the mysterious master of the place has offered to dig up powerful weapons against horsemen in the forest in exchange for providing more people for the settlement. Ezra decides to head into the forest to search for it. Cyrus directs Duncan to the Great Glade, and Jax defeats several of his opponents in a practice fight. However, the more experienced Duncan manages to overpower the formidable Jax. Cyrus stops the duel and explains that his theory has proven to be correct. The humans' reactions are only a few seconds ahead of the riders' reactions. Since Duncan's companion is much weaker, his sanity is not affected, and so his reactions are slightly faster. The rider, on the other hand, acts with a slight delay because the signals from the brain first pass through the companion before the body acts. Cyrus comes to the disappointing conclusion that humans will always be superior to riders in combat. To eliminate the signal delay, Cyrus plans to perform experimental surgery on the human brain. But to do so, he needs a working drone and a test subject. The yellow drone leads Ezra to the right place in the forest, but the riders soon discover it. The man quickly digs up the desired item, and the drone calls it a weapon. At the settlement, Abram touches an obelisk, and because of this, he instantly understands the meaning of the hieroglyphics. However, Abram still does not understand what this knowledge means. In the forest, a yellow drone warns Ezri of approaching horsemen. Ezri is surrounded by enemies who take away his weapons before he can escape. Ezri manages to outflank the hesitant enemy and escape with his weapon. Fina tries to find out from the red drones what the true purpose of the aliens who have decided to resurrect humans is, but fails. The girl asks to bring Duncan back to life, unaware that he has already been resurrected and turned into a horseman. Ezra brings a weapon to the obelisk to destroy the horsemen. But the boy refuses to kill the humans until he finally learns who they are and what's going on here in general. Then the drones controlled by the obelisk promise to resurrect Ezra's family if Ezra fulfills all their demands. Ezra realizes that this is his only chance to see his beloved family again. In the evening, Ezra and Fina sit by the obelisk and dream that someday their dead relatives will come back to life. Suddenly, they notice that the weapon opens and emits a red light. A new symbol appears on the obelisk, instructing Fina to go to the lake and meet new people there. On the way, however, the girl is spotted by horsemen. At this point, the drone tells Abram about the companions of the horsemen. The horsemen are closely connected to the brain by a crystal structure. A weapon found in the forest shatters these crystals and destroys the parasite. When a rider dies, his memories are stored in the crystals and passed on to his ancestors. The challenge is to find and destroy these crystals. Fina sees Lynn appear in the lake and helps her get to shore. Jax appears next, but a red drone quickly disarms him. The girls try to escape, but are intercepted by Duncan. Duncan disarms the drone and captures the girls, unaware that they are Fina, who was his lover in a past life. The captives eventually manage to escape, but Lynn injures her leg and asks Fina to go to the settlement as soon as possible and tell her husband everything. The raiders capture Lynn and bring her back to the lake, where Jax shows the girl how the glare works and her wounded leg heals quickly. Suddenly, Jax is knocked unconscious by a rock flying at his head. Lynn is rescued by a savage who takes the girl to a forest hideout to share shoes and food with her. Lynn soon discovers that the girl cannot speak. Fina makes it to the base and tells Ezra of the Queen's return. Despite Yellowdraw's warning that the horsemen have likely already made the girl their own, Ezra tries to rescue his consort. Meanwhile, in the forest, Jax is on the trail of the fugitives. Ezra is unable to leave the settlement because Oberys has turned on the force field. Fina admits that her lover Duncan, resurrected as a horseman, didn't recognize her. This means that Lynn, who has a parasite implanted in her body, probably won't recognize her husband either. Jax catches up with the fugitives and declares that even Brinks can make mistakes when resurrecting people, resulting in flawed and inferior personalities. Ryder tries to kill the mute girl, but Lynn convinces him not to. Meanwhile, Silas removes a companion crystal from the dead Ryder's neck and tells one of the women to take it to her ancestors. The other raiders take Lynn to their chief. Abram reads the hieroglyphics on the obelisk and concludes that he once lived in this settlement, which is confirmed by a note made by his own hand. The yellow drone confirms this and sees many graves, including Ezra's. Ezra is also resurrected, and it turns out he once lived in the settlement. The drone then leads Abram to his own grave, where he sees himself and is called to start a new life and live happily ever after. What do you think of the Extinction series? Share with us in the comments. See you soon.